Chapter 6. Screech could tell that Barney Brill was surprised to see such a young reporter, but the guy was warm and friendly. He showed Screech all around the plant and constantly threw out statistics off the top of his head, which kept Screech scribbling fiercely as he tried to keep up. The tour ended in the last building, all the way at the end of the parking lot. Barney waved at the guard and led Screech past a sign that read, "Classified, authorized personnel only." Barney paused outside a door and punched a few numbers. The door buzzed, and he pushed it open. Screech saw a stairway leading upward. "Sorry about this," Barney said. "The elevators in this building are being fixed." "No problem," Screech said. But the stairs turned out to be a slight problem for Barney. He puffed his way up them and had to pause on each landing to catch his breath. My wife keeps telling me to exercise," he told Screech with a smile. "But this elevator problem has finally convinced me." He pushed open the door to the third floor. "The end of the Cold War hit us hard," he said. "It really cut into our productivity. But we still do satellite surveillance of trouble spots." "Do you have good security here?" Screech asked. Barney nodded. "Top notch. You'll notice I keyed in my code on a pad downstairs. No one can get up here without his or her code." Screech looked down at his pad. "Can you give me an idea how accurate your equipment here is?" he asked. Barney grinned. "Sure. A couple years ago we were mapping the Bering Sea by satellite when this submarine emerged from the water. We saw the captain come out on deck." "Wow," Screech said. "You mean you can see people from way up in outer space?" Barney snorted. "That's nothing. We saw that the guy was having something hot to drink, and we knew he was drinking tea. You know why? Because we saw that little paper square that's on the end of the string." "Wow," Screech breathed. He really was impressed. He quickly scribbled down the story. It was just the kind of thing George would be looking for, he guessed. George had told him to be sure and get the human element, even if the guy was a complete techno-head. Barney showed him around the third-floor offices, where much of the mapping, called remote sensing, was done. Then he puffed his way down the stairs again. He paused at the entrance to the building. "You mind if I don't walk you out?" he said with a grin. "My office is on the first floor, and there's a jelly donut waiting for me in it. It's my reward for climbing those stairs." "I don't mind at all," Screech said, reaching out to shake his hand. "Thank you for the tour, Barney. It was very interesting." Screech pushed open the door and started down the stairs to the parking lot. He didn't think this story would set Palisades on fire, but George could probably make it interesting. At least Screech had done more today than sharpen pencils. And when the feature came out, he'd be able to tell Nanny that he'd done research for it. That would be better than nothing. Screech paused at the entrance to the parking lot. Where had he left his car? Just then, he saw a figure hurry through the parking lot and into an alley that ran alongside the building. The petite woman walked quickly, almost furtively. Something about her looked familiar, too. Screech inched around the corner. The woman was walking down the alley. She stopped and looked up, shading her eyes with her hand. Quickly, Screech ducked behind a palm tree. The woman looked at her watch. Then she reached down and picked up a handful of dirt. She tossed it at one of the windows on the third floor. Screech watched as the window opened. He couldn't see who was there. All he saw was a forearm. The arm waved at the woman and then dropped a manila envelope down into her waiting hands. It was just like in the movies. The woman waved up at the window and turned around. At last, Screech got a good look at her face. Now he knew why she'd seemed familiar. The woman wasn't a woman. She was a girl. She was Irina Pastovic. That night, Kelly heard her phone ring after dinner. She knew it was Slater and ran to answer it. He usually called her every night now, even if they'd seen each other in the afternoon. It was really sweet of him to give her so much attention, but tonight she wished he hadn't called at all. They'd played tennis this afternoon, and he'd said goodbye only a few hours ago. It wasn't that Kelly didn't want to talk to him. It was just that, well, she'd like a night off. When had Jessie had a chance to do anything if she was on the phone with Slater all the time, she wondered. "Hey, Mama," Slater said when he heard her voice. "What's new?" "Not much," Kelly said brightly. "Just some macaroni and cheese casserole. I just had dinner." "Yum," Slater said. "We had chicken and rice. Now I've got to hit the books. I just wanted to check in." There was a pause. Kelly knew what was coming next. Slater was going to bring up tomorrow night. They'd talked about seeing a movie. but Kelly had changed her mind. Things were so weird at school with Jesse angry at her. Everything felt all mixed up. It wasn't that she didn't want to see Slater, she just didn't want to see him so much. "About tomorrow night," Slater said. "I was thinking, my schoolwork has been taking a nosedive. Would it be okay if we took a rain check?" "No problem," Kelly said quickly. "So I'll see you tomorrow, okay?" Slater said. "I have wrestling practice early, so I can't drive you to school." "That's fine," Kelly said. I can get a ride from my brother, or take the bus. I'll see you there." Kelly heard the doorbell ring downstairs. She knew it was Jessie. She was coming over to adorn Kelly by giving her a new look. They had already decided to shampoo red highlights into her hair. She heard the sound of the front door opening and her mother greeting Jessie. "Go on up, sweetie," her mother said. "Slater, I have to run," Kelly said. I have to do my homework." "Duty calls," Slater said. "Have a good one, Kelly. I'll see you tomorrow." Kelly hung up. That was all she needed, to have Jessie walk into her room and hear her talking to Slater. Jessie walked into the room carrying a small shopping bag. "Hi," she said, offhandedly. "Hi," Kelly said. Her voice came out a little too bright and squeaky. It was just too weird to be doing this with Jessie when they were scarcely talking to each other. I talked to Lisa," Jessie said. "She gave me this recipe from this new book she got called Secrets of Mother Nature. It was all these shampoo and creams that you can make for yourself from natural ingredients. Lisa gave me one for this rinse called Burnished Brunette, and it will give you these great red highlights. I already mixed up a batch." Jessie reached into her bag and took a jar with green gloop in it. Kelly eyed it nervously. "Are you sure it won't be too intense?" "No way," Jessie assured her. "Lisa said that the look will be totally subtle. And if you don't like it, it will shampoo out in about 6 shampoos." "Okay," Kelly said. "Let's give it a try." "Let's do it over the sink in the bathroom," Jessie suggested. "Your hair needs to be wet." In the bathroom, Kelly leaned over and rinsed her hair in the sink. Jessie put on plastic gloves and started scooping the mixture into Kelly's hair. If you do want the color to be a little more intense, you can wrap your hair in a warm, moist towel," Jessie advised. "It takes about 20 minutes. Jessie worked the glop into Kelly's hair. Then she dunked a towel into warm water and squeezed out the excess. Kelly wrapped her hair in it. "Now we have to wait," Jessie said. "Well, let's go back to my room," Kelly suggested. In her bedroom, Kelly sat on the bed. Jessie took the hard desk chair. Jessie examined her nails. Kelly cleared her throat. "Do you want to watch TV while we wait?" she asked Jessie. Jessie looked relieved. "Sure." Kelly clicked on the television. She was afraid that Jessie might argue with her about what show to watch, but their favorite nighttime soap was on. It was so engrossing that they forgot when the 20 minutes were up. Kelly sprang to her feet. "It's been 40 minutes!" she said. "I'd better rinse this out and dry my hair." "I'll tell you what happens," Jessie said, her eyes glued to the TV screen. Kelly ran off to the bathroom. Jessie turned up the volume. Would Brad find out that Monique was cheating on him and stealing his company? "What a sleaze," Jessie said to the TV. Then she heard a high-pitched scream. Jessie turned down the volume. Funny? That sound hadn't come from the TV. She heard the scream again. It was coming from the bathroom. Jessie sprang up and ran down the hall of the bathroom. She rattled the knob. "Kelly, are you okay?" Slowly the door opened. Kelly stood there, the towel still in her hand. Her mouth was open. Her blue eyes were wide. And her hair was bright green. Uh-oh. I guess that TV show was too engrossing. Well, that's chapter 6.